TikTok may be banned. You may have heard the story. There was a law passed a while ago that basically said TikTok has to divest from foreign adversaries of the United States. And if they don't, then they're going to get blocked out in the U.S. I actually have no problem with it. Now, Donald Trump ended up winning largely with the youth vote, turned around on TikTok, and is now saying maybe it should not be banned. I still think it should. Not necessarily that it should be banned, but the idea that there will be investment in a company deeply controlling of our economy and of our media, that there's going to be controlling interest from one of our adversaries is a bad thing. So I think divestment is a must. Look, guys, we can't just sit in this world of anyone can do anything for any reason at any point. I believe in freedom. I believe in liberty within the confines of this country, a secure border, and our Constitution. I don't see why we would allow people who hate us to dictate our media narrative and culture. It's bad enough the corporate press lies, cheats, and steals all day, every day. We don't need foreign influence. We don't need it. So I don't see what the problem is for TikTok to just be like, okay, we're going to divest the small percentage we have from these Chinese investors or Chinese influence. Should be simple, right? Now, in the inverse, there's a concern among more libertarian types that, in fact, the intelligence agencies are trying to isolate control of social media. And the bill actually wouldn't ban TikTok. It's going to force them to divest. So it's not really a ban. Well, now the Supreme Court will be taking up the case. Daily Local News says Supreme Court will hear arguments over the law that could ban TikTok in the U.S. if it's not sold. You know, look, I got to be honest. I hate TikTok. They're one of the worst in terms of censorship. We have problems posting clips from the show, and people call me a milquetoast fence sitter. Yet we still randomly get banned from TikTok. The narrative control is massive and obvious on that platform, and I say no dice. No dice. So I don't care. I'm not going to sit back and defend people who want to destroy our worldview and way of life. So while I am for free speech, of course, I'm for free speech for those who are for free speech. And if TikTok wants to play these dirty editorial games where they suspend and ban people based on their opinions with no clear way to navigate, especially, then I say, bye, I'm not defending you. Here's a story from the Daily Local News. It's an AP report. And let's see if we can get the actual AP report. You know what? Let's just jump to USA Today. Here's what we know after a denied court petition. This is from yesterday, and then we'll get the update on the Supreme Court. A federal appeals court denied TikTok's petition for the Supreme Court to pause and review legislation that could ban the social media app in the United States. However, a comment from President-elect Trump paints a murky future for the platform. On Friday, U.S. Court of Appeals in the District of Columbia denied a motion filed by TikTok and Chinese parent company ByteDance to temporarily pause the legislation. The latest news, of course, we have this. Let's see if Bloomberg will let us. Here we go. Supreme Court will hear the challenge. The U.S. Supreme Court said it will hear TikTok's challenge to a law that would ban the social media app if it isn't sold by the Chinese parent company, scheduling arguments for January 10th. This is massive because I believe they have 19th to get it done. TikTok's parent company ByteDance says the law violates the Constitution's free speech protections. A federal appeals court in Washington upheld the law earlier this month on a 3-0 vote, saying Congress was legitimately acting to protect national security and user privacy. I agree. I don't believe the Constitution applies to people who are not in this country. Now, if you are a visitor to this country, the Constitution does protect your rights. If you're a tourist, you have free speech rights, but there's still restrictions on carrying guns, so it's hard to know how to navigate this. When the Founding Fathers were drafting up these provisions, there were a lot of things that we didn't encounter and we didn't know how to answer to. So the question's got to be answered. Supreme Court needs to determine whether or not the Constitution applies to people outside the country. I don't think it does. TikTok is not being banned. They're saying the foreign influence can't be involved. I agree with that. The court will also hear an appeal from a group of content creators. The ban will take effect January 19th, the day before President-elect Trump is to be inaugurated, unless the Supreme Court blocks it. Updates to say court will also appeal from content creators. Okay, so that's the update. That's the basic news. That's where we're at so far. Trump is signaling his openness to stopping the TikTok ban, softening his stance. Trump came out in a press conference and said just the other day, you know, he did really well with the youth vote, so maybe he doesn't want it banned. Look, if you are going to be swayed by the sweet nothings whispered into your ear by Chinese influence media, then we're doomed. I do not believe just because Trump won and because he started getting benefits from TikTok, we should sit back and let foreign companies have influence over our corporate press, over the narrative machine in this country. It's bad enough the woke elements at X and Facebook were playing this dirty game. But now that you got these big tech CEOs dropping on one knee to Donald Trump, I say we're moving in the right direction. Not that people should be giving fealty to Trump. The point is these companies realize the manipulation of speech and the narrative in this country is wrong. And there will be recompense. But if TikTok is allowed to operate with Chinese influence, it's not changing. We are not going to have sound economic policy or border policy when a country that hates us and wants us destroyed is basically controlling a large portion of our economy and our social media landscape. So here's the answer. Divest. That's it. It's not hard. Divest. Whatever interest this China has in it, which is small, you just sell it off. China's refusing. And you got to understand, too, about China is that these companies all operate within the Communist Party of China. You got to have a Chinese Communist Party member department, just like they want to do DEI stuff here. I say no dice. Not interested. But Trump met with the TikTok CEO. As the deadline looms, the BBC reports. U.S. President-elect Trump met the CEO of TikTok on Monday as the social media giant fights plans by U.S. authorities to ban it. Trump met Shao Zichu, his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida on Monday. The BBC's U.S. partner CBS News reporting, citing sources familiar with the meeting. A law passed earlier this year means TikTok will be banned unless it is sold by a Chinese parent company. The bill introduced in the law said it was intended to protect the national security of the United States from the threat posed by foreign adversary-controlled applications. All right. So it'll be just before Trump comes in, but I'm going to tell you this. It's an addiction. That's why it wouldn't be banned. And me, I have little risk. So let's lay this all out. First, Trump said, take a look at TikTok. I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. There are those that say TikTok has something to do with that. TikTok had an impact. A majority of 18 to 29-year-olds backed Trump's Democratic opponent, Kamala Harris. But the vote did see a significant swing towards Trump among young voters. I think he won 34%, not by 34%. But let's break it down. Make it easy. First, there's the obvious. We've been banned so many times and shut down on TikTok. I don't care. It's easy for me to say, screw TikTok, bye. We don't break the rules. We are milquetoast fence sitters, as we've been accused, moderates. And people get mad that we don't take strong positions, things we don't know about. I say we as in Timcast IRL and its talent, but you could say I as well for the morning show. And even with that, when we have conversations on seemingly mundane issues, TikTok banned us. So screw you dudes. I don't care. Bye. Cry about it. TikTok is one of the most censorious platforms. And just because Trump got a benefit and certain people found followers on the platform does not mean we should entertain it. This is the same platform that pushed Dylan Mulvaney to the top. We don't want it. They will flip on a dime the moment they get the opportunity. Now, in the inverse, you got a lot of young people who have big followings, and that's their career. And they are deeply concerned they're going to lose their 1 million followers on TikTok, which I don't believe, I'll keep it light. But in my personal opinion, looking at TikTok, I am suspect over the audience size. Whatever that means. These people are not going to walk away from 1 million followers. If someone came and said they wanted to ban YouTube, you'd expect people like me and everyone else to be like, whoa, no. And we'd give our reasons. There's personal bias here, 100%. I got to be fair. I got to be fair, though, and honest. If I had a big following on TikTok, I still don't know that I would care all that much about TikTok. Seriously. They are overly censorious and manipulative, and they prop up weird crackpot far-left things. And we're not talking about banning them. We're just telling them to divest from the interests that oppose American interests. We should not let these foreign countries operate in this way. Now, if China wants to run Xinhua News, I don't care. That's fine. If RT wants to run Russia Today, yeah, I don't care. That's fine. If Iran wants Press, what is it called? Press One? I can't remember the name. Whatever. Then what is the Iranian news agency called? I should. We'll get this one up. It's what's it called? IRNA. I thought there was one that was called like Press One or something. I don't know. Whatever. Iran International, whatever, you get the point. If they want to operate here, yeah, I don't care. We understand what they are, and they're outright saying, hey, we are of this country, and this is our editorial position. Okay, fine. TikTok doesn't act that way. TikTok is deep influenced by China, but pretends to be neutral because it's just regular people speaking their minds and running their businesses. Except they decide in the algorithm who gets seen and who does not. And that means they shut down our conversations when we say things like make products in America. I don't believe for a second that the real anger that they have, the reason why they ban us, is over gender issues or culture war issues. I think it largely has to do with the fact that we say, stop making products in China. And then all of a sudden, our channel gets banned for the third or fourth time or whatever. Yeah. So you know what, TikTok? You made your bed, now you sleep in it. There's a simple answer here. You divest from U.S. adversaries, and we move on. But we'll see. I think the Supreme Court may actually defend them on this one. This will be interesting. The question of whether or not the Supreme Court cares about the integrity of the country or simply says we have to abide by our interpretation of the Constitution. Should be interesting. I'll leave it there. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Become a member over at timcast.com to support our work. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. And we'll see you all in the next segment.